Welcome to Dr. Vipin's Biotech and Bioinformatics classroom. And today we talk about the apply function. So if you remember in lecture number 9, we discussed R loops. Loops are not the best way to iterate in R. The apply function is an alternate to the loops. So let's get started and let's go to RStudio and talk about the apply function. So as I've already told you, apply functions are an alternative to loops. And apply command comes in several flavors. You have apply, that is the base apply that we're going to talk of today. Then you have L apply. Likewise, you have S apply, M apply, T apply. You also have E apply and so on and so forth. We'll talk of all the apply functions later. In this lecture, we concentrate only on the base apply function, that is apply. So the basic data structure in which apply works is either a data frame or a matrix or a multi-dimensional array. The output of the apply function could either be a vector, a list, a matrix, or an array. So let's now get into the details of apply function and look at the syntax of the apply function, right? So we're going to use an example of a matrix data structure to show the functionality of apply. So here we are, we first create a matrix. So we say matrix 1 is equal to matrix, and then we create a vector by using the C function, 1:9. So this is going to have numbers from 1 to 9. And we define that this matrix is going to have 3 rows and 3 columns automatically. And then also we define that the matrix is populated by rows. So we say by row equals to true. If you're not following this, you can go back to my previous lectures on matrices and you should be able to follow this, right? So here you are, you create this matrix, you say run, and you have your matrix 1 created. So our matrix 1 contains numbers from 1 to 9, and we can have a view of what is there in the matrix by simply saying matrix 1, right? So let me just run this part so that we know what is there in our matrix here. So this is our matrix. This is your rows 1, 2, 3. These are your columns 1, 2, 3. Address in a matrix, the row comes first and the column comes second. So 1, 1 will be 1. Likewise, 3, 2 will be 8. The row first and the column second, right? So here we are. We have already created a matrix. Now let's see how you can apply the apply function onto this matrix. So the syntax of the apply function is simple. You say apply, that is the keyword, then open the round brackets. First, you mention the data set. In this case, it is going to be matrix 1. That is our matrix that we're going to apply a certain function to. Then you have the next input is what is known as a margin, and margin can hold values of 1 or 2. 1 indicates rows, 2 indicates columns, right? And then lastly, with the comma, you have to mention the function that you want to apply. This could be mean, sum, or it could also be your user-defined function. In case you do not know how to create a user-defined function, you could go back to my previous lecture here, R_10, creating a function in R. And this helps you keep your code short, compact, and also more readable, as also error-free. So therefore, creating a function is one of the good writing practices for code, and you must know how to write a function. So let's get back and let's talk more about apply function here. So here you are, let's say you want to calculate the sum of rows in your matrix. So you could say apply, right? And then you say matrix 1, that is your data set, if you remember this one. Then with a comma, you mention the margin. Margin could be 1 or 2, depending on whether you want the sum of rows or columns. In this case, you want the sum of rows. So it will be 1. And then again, you mentioned the function that you want to apply on this particular data set. So here we apply the sum function because we want to know the total of each row in our data set. So when you run this here, this is the result. So if you see here, you get a vector that is 6, 2 plus 1, 3, 3 plus 3, 6. So this is the first row total. Then you get 15 for the second row, 5 plus 4, 9, plus 6, 15. And likewise, you get 24 for the third row. So 8 and 9 is 17, 17 and 7 is 24. Right? So this was a vector of 3 values that you get here as an output based on the apply function that I've put up. Now, let's say you want to know the sum of columns. So you again use the apply function. You say apply, open the round brackets, the data set name, that is matrix 1. With the comma, you mention 2. 2 stands for columns. And then again with the comma, you mention the function that is sum, right? And then, of course, you close the round bracket again. Let me run this part. And here you are. When you run this, now you get your column-wise total. So first column, 1 plus 4 is 5, 5 plus 7 is 12. So you get a 12 here. Likewise, 8 and 5, 13 plus 2, 15. So you get a 15 for the second column. And likewise, you get 9 plus 6, 15 plus 3, 18. And 18 for the third column. Now, let's say you want to calculate the mean of columns. So again, now you know, since it is columns, this second input will be 2 here. Data set is still the same, so it is matrix 1, and you are using the mean function now to calculate the mean of values column wise, and you put it within the round brackets and you add an apply at the start. So you're using apply round brackets matrix 1 comma 2 comma mean. This is going to give you the mean of values column wise in your data set. So here you are. Let me run this part now. So now let's say you want to check out what is the maximum value in each row. So again, since you're giving it row wise, the second value will be 1. The data set is still the same, matrix 1. And then again, the function that you're going to call is an inbuilt function in R that is called max to pull out the maximum value row wise. So let me just run this command. And here you are. The first row, the maximum value is 3. The next row, the maximum value is 6, and the third row, the maximum value is 9. You could change this and do it column-wise. So let me just do it column-wise here. So I say 2, and then again, you run this part here, and now you get maximum values column-wise. So if you look into your matrix now, here you are. So for the first column, the maximum value is 7. For the next column, maximum value is 8, and the third column maximum value is 9. So you get 7, 8, and 9 as your maximum values column-wise, right? So I'm showing you on a small data set. You could do the same for a very large data set. You would still get the same values, and the apply function will be applied exactly the way it is applied to the smaller data set. So let's say you want to calculate the cumulative sum of your data and you want to do it column-wise. So what is cumulative sum? So you want a matrix that at the second position has 1 plus 4, 5, and at the third position it has 1 plus 4 plus 7, that is 12, right? So here I say again, apply, and then I open my round brackets, matrix 1, comma 2, because I want to do it column-wise, comma, the function that I want to use. This is again an inbuilt function in R called cum-sum or cumulative sum. So let's have a result of this. And before that, maybe we can also print the matrix 1 for our reference. So we say matrix 1, right? And then let me just clear this out. Here you are first printing your matrix 1 and then you're printing your cumulative sum. So you run this here and here you are, right? So this is original matrix and this is your cumulative sum matrix. So first position, it is just 1. Then you are adding column wise. So at the second position, 4 plus 1 becomes 5. And at the third position, 5 plus 7 becomes 12, right? So now what you're going to do is you're going to print the cumulative sum, and this time you're going to sum row wise. So here you are. If you see, this is your 1. So 1 corresponds to 1. That is not a problem. Then 1 plus 2 equals to 3. And 1 plus 2 plus 3 equals to 6, right? Likewise, for the second row, 4 is 4. Then you have 4 plus 5, that is 9, and then you have 4 plus 5 plus 6, that is 15. Likewise, for the third row, 7 is 7 as such. Then 7 plus 8 is 15. Here you are. And then you have 7 plus 8 plus 9. That is equivalent to 24. That is the value that you have here. So now we come to the last part where we want to use the user-defined function. So now let us look at how to apply a user-defined function with apply. So here you are. I create a small function called square one. As the name indicates, it is going to square up the values. Again, if you want to know how to create a function and what are the basic rules for creating a function, you could go back to R_10, creating a function. So functions are a way to make your code error-free, short and compact, and also easy to debug. So here you are, you have written a square one function to square the numbers. Then let us print the original matrix before we go on to see how the square is going to be applied. You use the apply function. So you say apply, you open the round brackets, you mention the data set on which you want to apply. So this is matrix 1. Then you want to apply it to all values in your matrix. So you say concatenate margins 1 and 2, right? So this is basically going to be applied to every single value in your matrix, not just to rows or columns. Then, of course, you mentioned the function that you want to use. So this is a user-defined function called square one that you're going to use here. Now let's run the code to see what you get here. So here you are. Let me first run the square one. So here you are. So this is your square one function. And then, of course, you're going to apply square one function onto matrix 1 using the apply command. And then, of course, now you're going to square all values in your matrix. So here you are, you run this. This is what you get. So here you are, this is 1. You have square is 1, 2, the square is 4, 3, the square is 9. Likewise, 4 square is 16. Likewise, let's say 3, 2. This is 8 here, and here 3, 2 is 64. So this is basically the utility of apply function. Instead of using iteration, for loop, or while loop, you can directly use the apply function if you want to do the same thing to multiple values, either row-wise or column-wise or both. Now there are other variations of apply function, including lapply, mapply, tapply, sapply, which we're going to talk in the next lecture. So I request you to share the channel, like and recommend the channel to other friends as well. Thank you very much, and I'll see you again in the next lecture.